This is big breaking emergency news. Biden just activated the PrEP Act. This is big for our country, and this is authorizing emergency use powers inside the United States. All right, they're getting ready potentially for something big, and they're saying that this is a major threat to the U.S. All right, we also have a travel alert being issued right now. Right, they are warning U.S. citizens that they need to leave certain areas and certain escalation zones right now. This is urgent. So let's get into the details here really quick, guys. Please hit that like, hit that subscribe. I'm posting all the time, keeping you guys updated on this big urgent news. All right, so there are multiple big stories going on right now. Okay, we have the PrEP Act being activated. We have travel alerts being issued, and we have warnings from U.S. congressmen as well, all right, on this PrEP Act that was just activated. This is the Public Readiness and Emergency Preparedness Act. This was just activated, and this is activating emergency powers for the federal government right now. Okay, so we've seen a lot of this activity happening recently. Okay, there's been a lot of things going on. It's a very volatile situation right now in the U.S., and we could see any number of situations pop off, and having this PrEP Act activated and these emergency powers activated is a major red flag and warning sign. And this is something that I've been warning of for a few months now, all right, that they are potentially getting ready for this, right? And now we are seeing the federal government activate these emergency powers and update their powers as well, giving them even new powers, all right? So this could change our society. This could change our 2024 potentially, right? Things that are coming up, the election year, right? This could change that as well. We could see a repeat potentially of 2020 with these emergency powers that were just activated, right? So this is big. We also have a travel alert that was just issued as well for U.S. citizens. Okay, they are telling U.S. citizens that they need to leave Lebanon right now, right? There is a lot of activity going on right there between Israel and Lebanon, and they are saying that there could be a major escalation in the next 48 hours, and U.S. citizens need to leave there right now, right? They just issued a travel alert to leave this area, and they're warning people that they might not be able to leave and get out on flights soon if they don't leave now, all right? Because flights are being shut down. There's mass cancellations of multiple different airlines, and the U.S. State Department is warning U.S. citizens to leave there, and people have family there, people travel there. There's lots of doctors and things like that there, and aid workers, things like that are in this region, and they're all being affected from this right now, okay? And we also have a urgent calls being made by medical volunteers of Israel for, quote, general surgeons, thoracic surgeons, and trauma surgeons, and also anesthesiologists, right, to assist with hospitals in the north of the country, right? So this situation over there is popping off right now. There's been a lot of bombing and back and forth, okay, and they are warning that this could ramp up even more, okay? So lots of volatile situations going on around the world, and while all this is happening, the U.S. just activated their PrEP Act as well, okay? So let's get into the major details of this. So it says the Secretary of Health and Human Services issued this notice on July 18th, 2024, and made an amendment to the April 19th, 2013 determination of this act regarding the avian influenza A the H7N9 virus and determined pursuant to his authority under the act that there is a significant potential for a public health emergency that has significant potential to affect national security or the health and security of the United States citizens living abroad, and that involves biological agents, namely pandemic influenza A viruses and influenza A viruses with pandemic potential. All right, so this is major alert. Okay, Biden just authorized the Health and Human Services Secretary Becerra to activate a PrEP Act declaration for this avian stuff that has been going around. And this is the quote from the declaration, that it has, quote, significant potential for a public health emergency that has significant potential to affect national security or the health and security of U.S. citizens living abroad, and that involves biological agents. All right, so they're saying that this could even affect U.S. citizens living abroad. This could affect everyone. And they're now adding, they've made a PrEP Act declaration and are now adding this avian flu to their emergency powers. All right, here's some more info on it. It says HHS Secretary Becerra has issued a PrEP Act declaration for the bird stuff. It says this allows the FDA commissioner to issue emergency use authorizations for these bird shots with no liability. Okay, so now they have emergency use authorization power for these bird things, these bird shots. Okay, and check this out. The U.S. government has ordered 4.8 million doses of these bird shots from CSL Seqirus company. So this company was just contracted with the federal government to produce 4.8 million doses of this, right? Something's going on. Something is cooking up in the background, and we might see this pop off before the end of the year. I'm not saying it's going to, but it's one of the cards that can be played, and they have now activated these emergency powers. All right, this is big. Also, the American Medical Association issued CPT codes for this shot last Friday. So doctors can now be reimbursed for administering it. Okay? So they already have insurance codes for this stuff too, for humans to use it. So doctors can get reimbursed if they give this. Right? And there's been talk of all workers that are around dairy or chickens or anything like that, any farm workers like that, they're saying that they might have to have this stuff, right? So they're doing the insurance codes. This is serious. This means they're actually, like, this could actually happen, all right? The infrastructure, the plan is already laid out. Insurance codes, emergency use powers have been activated as well. Millions of doses have been produced now too. Okay, and also in Colorado, there is a quarantine zone. Okay, right outside of Denver, actually, east of Denver, they've set up a quarantine zone for people that are dealing with this outbreak there. They're saying there's a big outbreak. They're calling millions of chickens, right? And I have dozens of chickens. If you guys haven't seen before, if you guys are new, I have dozens of chickens on my homestead here. My chickens are doing good, right? But egg prices are going to skyrocket. Chicken prices are going to skyrocket. They're shutting down the farming industry right now with this stuff. And it could start shutting down a lot more things too. All right, so insurance codes are happening too. This is big, guys, right? It seems like they're getting ready for this, all right? And this is how this PrEP Act is being described by Thomas Massey. okay? He gave his opinion on this Emergency Prep Act that has been activated, right, by the federal government, authorized by Biden and the HHS Secretary. And it says, this is his quote, "The Prep Act is medical malpractice martial law and should be repealed." He said it supersedes all state tort laws and allows cronies at pharmaceutical and medical device companies to literally get away with crimes as long as their victims can't prove there was malicious intent. Okay, so that's his quote. He's saying that the PrEP Act is, quote, medical malpractice martial law. Right, pretty extreme description there. But that's kind of what we're dealing with here, okay, is where there's no liability for these things too when it's emergency use authorized, or any of these things where it's emergency use. There is not, the liability is waived for things, okay? So people are not able to take anything to court or anything like that if they wanted to, okay? If they wanted to fight something out in court, they wouldn't be allowed to, because a lot of these manufacturers and companies have a liability shield, okay? Specifically, a lot of these pharmaceutical companies that produce certain things under contract for the government, right? They have liability for it and are protected against anyone coming after them or trying to get money from them or anything like that. So that's why he's saying that this is medical malpractice martial law. I think that's what he's saying here, is that there's nothing we can do, right? When things like this are happening, there's no recourse. You can't even take this to court to try to figure it out and maybe get restitution for this or get money or whatever, right? Whatever you think you're entitled to, you can't even bring that to court and say, hey, I think I should be owed this because this happened. And it might be related to X, Y, or Z, okay, from your company. That's not allowed with a lot of these things, right? They have liability shields and protections, okay? So, and they have extra protections when it's used from emergency use authorization, okay? So, and there have actually only been a total of 11 cases of this in the US since 2022, okay? And most of these cases have been mild for humans, okay? And we don't have any evidence that there's been human-to-human transmission yet, right? From my knowledge, right? So that's what's going on here, right? They already have quarantine areas set up in Colorado right now for this stuff, right? There's an entire little small town to the east of Denver, okay, that is under this quarantine, and animals are under quarantine going in and out. All the farms there are pretty much shut down right now. People at these farms and people that have backyard chickens too are being asked to register their chickens. Okay, I made a whole video on this a couple weeks ago now. How they are being told, right? The authorities are saying, hey, we want you to register your chickens. Tell everyone, even if you have backyard chickens, they're telling everyone, fill out this form, tell us how many chickens you have, tell us if they're sick or if there's any problems with them, all this stuff. Okay, so they are already doing a lot of these restrictions, quarantines, banning backyard chickens, restricting them, tracking them, tracing them. Okay, and if they have a hit, they have a green light for maybe there's something wrong here. They think there's some kind of testing, or you wrote down, oh, one of them's sick or something along these lines. They might come check it out And they can take all your birds. They can take all your birds and call them, get rid of them. And they've already done that to over 100 million birds just in the past couple years, right? So, and they're doing millions of birds every few weeks. There's a new farm that's having millions of birds wiped out. Just in this Colorado town, there were millions of birds. Okay, so get yourself prepared now, guys. Get yourself some chickens now too. Get yourself some animals. Start growing your own food. All right, and we're about to go even more diving in, right, with everything, because it's go time. That's why I've kind of been away for a little bit. All right, I've been taking just a little bit of time off. I just had my son. He's only 2 months old now. All right, so I've been taking time off for that. I've been spending a lot of time with him. He's just so little. They grow up so fast, you know. So I've been taking a little bit of time off for that. I appreciate you guys still supporting and listening and allowing me to, you know, just take a little time off, be with my family, I have 3 kids, right? And I have a newborn, 2 months old. So I appreciate that. I appreciate all the support. But we've also been doing some planning to really go all in, all right? Because we're at a homestead here, and it doesn't feel, I think we need to be more off-grid, more secluded, more private, more away from everything, right? Because we moved here recently, right, past 6 months, to be a little closer to family, right, for my son to be born. We wanted to be somewhere stable because we've been in our RV the past 3 years, right, and we wanted to be a little closer to family, things like that. So we came back down to the south, right, but it's just, I feel like I really need to be somewhere else, right, somewhere more off-grid, more secluded, more wild, more rural, right? There's just so many people down here, so much infrastructure, so much stuff, so many people moving down here. It's a lot, right? So we've been doing some planning behind the scenes. I'll keep you guys updated on that, of what we're planning next, right? Because it's go time. It's go time to really be off the grid as much as possible, right? Because we could see something big pop off, and you don't want to be reliant on these supply chains, on the power grid, on the infrastructure, everything. You don't want to be in the middle of these big cities, near these towns, near these busy roads, all these things. It's going to be a major liability if anything like this ever happens, we ever have a big pop-off. And if we see 2020 happen again like we did before, I don't know if we can handle the disruptions to the supply chain. This is the food supply now too, directly, that's being shut down. And it's cattle, it's dairy, and it's chicken and eggs. Okay, so it's like the major protein sources for the United States are being heavily hit right now from all the stuff they're doing. Okay, so that's everything. It's beef, steak, burgers, milk, cheese, ice cream, dairy. It's everything. All the major food group, eggs, and then chicken, baked chicken, rotisserie chickens, fried chicken. Eggs are used in everything for baking. Okay, this is a major hit. This is like the main staples of the U.S. diet and food supply, at least for us. Okay, and it's getting hit hard right now. Milk prices are up, beef prices are up, egg prices are up, all these things are going up, chicken prices. And there's this pressure, they're just forcing people to call their animals, all right? So that's why it's critical. You need to be creating your own supply chains, your own sustainability, your own food that you're growing, your own stuff you're working on, your own grid, your own power systems, your own water captures, all these things. We have big plans coming up soon. I will keep you guys updated on what we are doing because we are just going all in. We already have a bunch of stuff going, but we're going to ramp it up, right? Things are about to really ramp up. So make sure you guys keep your foot on the gas. I understand that it's a lot. It's a lot. I understand, but keep your foot on the gas. Stay prepared. Stay ready. Stay vigilant. Please hit it up for me down there, guys. It helps to get these warnings out so people know what's going on. Because there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. There's a lot of news. A lot of it is distractions. And behind the scenes, they're making moves. They're activating emergency powers, activating Title 10 powers, federalizing National Guard, military movements behind the scenes. All these things are happening, but they're not just going to blast it on mainstream news, okay? A lot of that stuff is distractions to keep you unaware of what they are really planning and what's coming next. All right, so thank you guys. I hope you have big blessings for your life, your family, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.